Well, good morning to you on this Friday morning, June the 12th. And our Devo for the day is entitled, still has the word work in it, Work and Human Dignity. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our own image, in our own likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." Tim Keller's thoughts on this: work of all kinds, whether with the hands or the mind, evidences our dignity as human beings because it reflects the image of God, the Creator, in us. Biblical scholar Derek Kidner notices something profound in the creation of animals and human beings in Genesis chapter 1. Only man is set apart and given a job description, an office, if you would. He cites Genesis 1:26 and 28 and 2:19 and Psalm 8, 4 through 8 and James 3:7. So there's a lot of references there. In other words, while the plants and animals are called to simply teem, T-E-M, and reproduce, only humans are explicitly given a job. They are called to subdue and have dominion or rule the earth. We are given specific work to do because we are made in God's image. What does this mean? Have you ever asked yourself that question? What does this mean? The rulers of the ancient Near East set up images and statues of themselves in places where they exercised or claimed to exercise authority. The images represented the ruler himself as symbols of his presence and authority. The close connection of Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 with the mandate to rule shows that this act of ruling is a defining aspect of what it means to be made in God's image. We are called to stand in for God here in the world, exercising stewardship over the rest of creation in His place as His vice regents. We share in doing the things that God has done in creation, bringing order out of chaos, creatively building a civilization out of the material of physical and human nature, caring for all that God has made. This is a major part of what we were created to be. Creatively building a civilization out of the material of physical and human nature, caring for all that God has made. That includes the trees, the grass, the animals, fellow humans, all of those things. All of those are created by God, and it's on our job description, I guess, to do our best to take care of all that He's created and looked on it and said, it is good. It's a major part. I like that last line from Tim Keller. This is a major part of what we were created to be. So our key here, I guess, would be if we see something that we know God created, another human, animals, the beauty of the sky, clouds, the sun, the stars, out in space that we can see best at night when there's no light competition here on Earth. We do what we can to marvel, to worship, really, I think. Again, I quoted that verse, the heavens declare the glory of God. And if that's the case, then we should be worshiping it. In a night sky especially, it takes your breath away on a clear, cloudless night when the sky is full of the stars you can see and just You had no idea there was that many out there before you had that opportunity. It, I know again, I've shared this before, and I hate to be a broken record, but a night sky in camping, as we used to do, I would be walking across an open field and not really looking up, but then eventually looking up. Wow. Wow. When you're living inside a town, even a small city, you don't get to see that because of all the other lights that are going on. But all of that, when we look up into that night sky and see all those stars and we're awed by it, at least I hope we are, and we see, yes, God made that. And he made me too. He made all of us. His handiwork is everywhere to be seen and to marvel at. And ask ourselves, am I caring for this work of God? From big to little, doesn't matter. The work and human dignity. The human dignity part is about us working to care for what God has created. From the smallest creature, the smallest detail that you need to have a microscope to see, up to the vast night sky and the planets and the perfection of the placing of the planets in our solar system, especially for Earth, and to care for the positioning of it in such a way that we have the seasons, that we have the day and the night, and all of those different things, that are the temperatures, because of the placing of our planet, are perfect. If we were closer, we'd be burned up. If we were further away, we'd freeze. God so built the planets, the placing of the planets, our solar system. And there's so many things we can't really figure out. And again, it's another thing that awes us, or should awe us, in the creation of God, and knowing he gave us the responsibility to be responsible. And that should lead us to considering, wow, God trusts us to take care of all of this. And we're not, let's be honest, we're not doing a good job. When I see all the stories about plastic islands floating around out in the Pacific and all the trash that's everywhere, I'm kind of touchy on that. And I think I've shared before, I get really frustrated when I see somebody's car window come down and out comes a piece of trash from the fast food stuff you just ate, or even a cigarette butt coming out the window. That is, albeit maybe I'll use the word insignificant, it still is saying to God's creation, I don't care. Now, we can't go do anything about it. We don't want to go up to somebody and get in trouble and see them, instead of throwing their trash out the window, pulling their gun out from underneath the seat next to them. But those are the things that we need to be not touchy, but careful about. We want to be good neighbors. And again, over the years, I've had good neighbors, I've had not so good neighbors. The not so good neighbors are allowing their dogs to do their thing out of my berm, and they don't clean up after them, or they don't take care of their garbage. They put it out. In my perspective, they put their trash out too early, and it allows animals to dig in, get it out, make a mess everywhere. Right now, I've had over probably all the years we've been here, college students next door. They're all guys, right? And they put their garbage cans out, and the garbage gets taken. But then they just leave the garbage cans there, and on a windy day, they end up out in the middle of the street, and you gotta play going around, like you're in some kind of racetrack and dodging the garbage cans. But then they'll be out on the berm and just a little bit into the street for a couple of days. I find that disrespectful to your neighbors. To be a good neighbor means to care for your property so it doesn't become an eyesore, to clean up, to care about the whole planet. And I know we're not able to really be masters of that, but we need to make the effort. And that is part of this human dignity that God passed on to us. He created it all, looked at it, said it's good. And if God thinks it's good, I want to make sure that I do my part in keeping it that way. It's, again, a responsibility passed on down to us from the first humans, Adam and Eve, that God created. So we want to be faithful in that. And indeed, that word dignity, we need to have that stay with us, knowing that caring for our property, caring even for our neighbors' property, and helping them out is an important detail of what God meant for us to be in picking up the responsibility for what He's created. It's a beautiful place to live if we're taking care of it well. Blessings to you today on this Friday.